Hello everybody, welcome back to the FRA Radio podcast. I'm your host Chloe Dean, and today I'm joined by two FRA alumni, Queenie and Roxy, and they're here today to talk about their brand, Tease. Hello.
Hi.
Would you like to start off by introducing yourselves and a little bit about your brand?
Yes, so I'm Queenie. I graduated from the FRA in 2020. I'm the founder of our brand Tease. And
I'm head of design, Roxy, also graduated year 2020, COVID year, but been best friends since.
Would you guys like to talk a little bit about your time at the FRA, sort of what course you did, how you found your experience at the FRA, and sort of how it's helped you to progress to where you are now?
yeah, definitely. I think the FRA for me was a massive, pivotal point in my life. I'd gone to boarding school before I came here, and I felt like what I wanted to do wasn't really accommodated there, and I just, for that reason, thought that, what I wanted to do probably wasn't gonna be feasible or really the right thing to do. So I started in sixth form upon my parents' wishes. They had their best interest, but it just definitely wasn't right for me. I left there and I found the FRA online. I believe on social media I saw an advert and I came for the open day, and my mum absolutely fell in love with it also, because she was very much like, you need to get your A-levels done, then you can do whatever you want, blah blah blah, and I was like, I can't do that, it's too much. So yeah, I went there on the open day and just completely fell in love and actually met like-minded people. It was kind of the first time that I had ever experienced sort of a group of people so free thinking, and that was super refreshing for me. It really opened my eyes and I think my mind up. It was exactly what I needed, and that's where we met on the level 3 design course. Yeah.
It's sort of similar story to me really. Did my GCSEs, sort of was never academically inclined,
same.
So creative always. I went to a Steiner school, so it was very much push the creative side. I came for the open day. Didn't really want to do A-levels, was sort of umming and ahhing. And then me and my mum came, we both fell in love. This when it was at Tottenham Court Road, so the campus, the library, everything. There was designs in the windows.
Yeah.
And it just felt right, being there. And then met like-minded people, met our tutors. I mean, Phil completely
big
changed
shout out
the
to
game.
Phil.
Yeah.
We love Phil. We're
Yeah.
big Phil stans. He really changed the game. He showed me a route of education that I didn't really think was possible.
Yeah.
I didn't know it could sort of look like that, and I finally became passionate about things that I was learning, whereas before in my life I never massively struggled academically, but I'm someone that if I'm bored by something I kind of lose interest in it completely, even if that's what I'm meant to be doing. And he just constantly was challenging us in the best way, and really,
but also became such good friends. We'd talk over lunch sort of thing, and it just
massively had our backs, and I hadn't had that before, that level of support with any sort of staff at school. So really made a
and
massive
even
difference.
Since leaving, we've stayed in contact with Phil, obviously on socials and everything, and he's just been the biggest supporter and champion.
That's the
for
thing,
us.
You leave here and the support doesn't really stop. You can really come to people here and ask them anything about what's going on in your life, or where you're at in your education or industry, or and that I think is unmatched. I certainly don't have that with anyone from high school or even university.
But even graduating uni, Phil came to I graduated from Westminster last year in menswear, and he came to our end of year show and was sat there in the crowd and stuff.
He
and,
is such
he was so
big
proud of you.
cheerleader.
So
I think having a good relationship with your lecturers will always help you to do
It
It was so easy
Yeah.
here though. It was so easy because there was no, you were treated actually for once with respect also, which I didn't have at school. I didn't have any of that. So, it was super easy, and I think therefore it just benefited our journey so much more. It was so much more enriched to have that relationship.
And did you always know you wanted to sort of go into fashion, or was this something you sort of discovered since finding FRA?
I did, yeah. I've always been interested in fashion for sure. My mum is super like super inspirational to me. She's super stylish, she's effortlessly chic, and I always just thought like, wow, I want to study that. Like I want to learn, how do I learn to like be like that, you know? And so I really got into it, and she's always been sort of showing me things I've been learning from her. So I think from a very young age, that was something I knew that I definitely wanted to go into, for sure.
Yeah, with me, I was sort of like, I was quite naughty at school, like, you know, maths and English, wouldn't sit there, so wouldn't be still. And yeah, going to Rudolf Steiner really did bring out the creative side of me. And since then, yeah, I mean, I did textiles for GCSE and got like a 9, so that was like, that's when I like knew. And then, yeah, to be completely honest, I actually wanted to go into equestrian, and I was so set on that. And then I found the FRA, and I was like, actually, like, I was like quite an outdoor, like, loved horses. And then, but always knew I wanted to do fashion, but never really like knew how to do it, or like what avenue to go down into, or like where to even start looking to study fashion. And then found, it was actually my friend who told me about this place at school. We were sat in a textiles lesson, and she was like, oh, I'm going to the open day at the FRA, like it's in London. And I was like, oh, she was like, you should come along, like just come and have a look. And I did, and yeah, that's when I was like, actually this is what I want to do. And like I'm glad I found that and spoke to that girl when I did, because like if I hadn't have, then I wouldn't have been here. But
I think it's really great to be able to have sort of that opportunity, almost like a gateway from, you know, school to the fashion industry.
Exactly. I found like our options were going to do a foundation art course somewhere, which is fabulous, but it's so broad, and rarely those courses really cover anything to do with fashion enough to really get a taste for it. Or go and study textiles at a college that does a million other things as well. And I think, as we all know, that's those kind of departments sort of don't have as much funding as the others, and you haven't got the experience of working with teachers and staff that have industry experience. You know, I think this is really like a one-of-a-kind place for that, and it's you know, got so many connections to jobs or unis. I mean, I remember doing the open days here, loads of brands
like
would come
career days,
that's like loads of brands would come in, and you'd even just getting a chance to speak to these people, you know, you don't
just making those contacts.
You're not
like
going to go you're not going to go into any of these offices and be like, oh, can I talk to your head of buying, please? Like, it's just not going to
but
happen,
they were
is
here.
it? So they were here.
And
I think that it's unmatched for sure.
And then, so what has your journey been like then, since, you know, coming to the FRA and making these connections? What has it looked like sort of from leaving FRA to now?
My journey has been full of peaks and troughs, I think is like the polite way to put it. We left in a really strange year, so our end of year actually got cut off short because of COVID. So we all left very abruptly. We didn't actually get to finish our finals. They sort of graded. We started them, and they sort of graded our coursework mixed with our other, what do you call it?
Previous assignments.
Like other markings, like our track record, and kind of came up with a rough sort of score for us. But obviously there was no textbook on how to deal with, you know, a global pandemic. So I think everyone, but it was a shame, because I think that we would have loved to have graduated and really sent, you know, each other off well, and, you know, said goodbye to everyone properly.
Yeah, because our year was quite close-knit. We were all sort of like all good friends.
We were all good friends, and again with our teachers, it was like, okay, so now after summer, we don't know where we're going, but we're definitely not coming back, and that's such a shame. You can see your friends, but you can't always just go and see, you know, your teachers. So I got into a few UAL schools, but for me, all of them were kind of missing something. I went on to do styling creative direction, and I think coming from a design course that had all of this amazing equipment and, you know, studios and stuff, I think I didn't quite grasp that my sort of building or campus was going to be a bit barer anyway. But just they all were missing something. So again, actually, like the FRA, I had a advertisement on social media come up for a school in Milan, and I just applied to it on a whim, and I didn't actually finish my application, it was all online, and I said in the morning, it was really late, I said in the morning if I still want to do this, I'll condense my portfolio because it was too large a file, and I will send it over in the morning. And I actually woke up from a phone call to the head of admissions at the school, because the system works a bit differently there, and you have to do an online test, and it's just random questions about there's some fashion history, there's some fashion what's it called, like psychological fashion question, and like things like that.
Yeah.
And I did it, and she called me and she said, hi, you haven't finished your application. And I was like, yeah, well, I need to condense my portfolio. And she said, well, you've scored 100% on our test, so send me your portfolio. However it comes, just send me it. I really, really want to see it. Oh my God, okay, this is no pressure at all. And I sent it over to her, expecting maybe in like a week that she'll get back to me. She called me later that day and she said, we'd love to offer you a scholarship, like please come to the school, like just come and see it at least, but like just know we really, really want to have you, want to offer you a scholarship. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. So I went to see the school and I spoke to them, and I had a really good feeling, and I needed a change. I'd gone through a tough time in COVID. I'd had a bit of loss, and I really was lost in myself anyway, and I didn't want to go to these schools in England, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go. But COVID in Italy was very, very strict, so they would kind of give us like a 2-day warning, and then the city would be in lockdown, and that would be it. And you couldn't even, it wasn't like here, you couldn't go and walk with a friend 5-meter distance or whatever it was. Like you literally couldn't even go to the supermarket without a certificate. So and my school didn't have student housing, so I was like, I need to come home, like whenever that happened. So I ended up coming back and forth quite a lot. I didn't want to be in my apartment by myself, locked down for like God knows how long. So I came home, and I think that kind of tarnished the experience for me a lot. I didn't feel like I was getting the full emphasis on it. A lot of the world was still locked down, but a lot of that city was locked down. And I transferred back to uni. They had a campus in London, which I wasn't really keen on doing, but I felt like I had to come home. I was finding it too hard. And then I ended up, after that year, just deciding that I didn't want to do any of it anymore. I think I wasn't very happy with the school experience that I had. It's not particularly their fault. I was in a tough place, but I felt like they could have dealt with situations quite a lot better. I didn't feel like I had support from my staff, and probably actually coming from the FRA, I felt like it was such a different experience that kind of made me fall out of love with it a bit, which really was heartbreaking, because since I can remember I wanted to do that, and it was like the first time in my life where I wasn't trying to get to do that, to work in industry. So then I actually did accounting for a bit, which is pretty random and so not me, but my stepfather was basically like, just come and work for me, like you need to do something. And I think they could see I was in a bit of a funk. So that probably was the best thing that could have happened, because I woke up one day and was like, if I do another day of accounting, I'm actually gonna
go crazy,
go nuts. I basically couldn't get a job in industry. I think I didn't have a degree, and I didn't want to work for an internship and not get paid. I just wasn't willing to sacrifice that. Basically, I was 23, I'm not 18 anymore, and I just wanted more than that. I'm kind of sick of this industry as well, a little bit, not in the sense that it's not doing anything great. I think it's doing great things, but I think they're selling the consumer quite a lot of false narratives, and I think that you can pay a lot for things these days. You can either go down the fast fashion route where you pay nothing for them, or you can pay a lot, and it still doesn't mean that you're going to be paying for ethics and quality. Unfortunately, I feel like that's just been something now that's not a guarantee, which I didn't want. I'm sick of. So I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. I've been dreaming of this brand for like 5 years, and I'm just gonna give it a good go.
I left the FRA and actually got a unconditional to Westminster University on the fashion design course. It was a 4-year with a placement.
But you did also get into like everywhere.
I did get
Let's
into.
be real.
Yeah, I did. I got offers from everywhere really, but I wanted to specify and go down menswear. I got CSM. I did get LCF, as well. I got Edinburgh, which I was so tempted to go to Edinburgh. And they actually said Edinburgh do like this program where you can go in at second year, if you've done like the extended diploma here, or if you've got like some sort of diploma in fashion design, you can go into second year Edinburgh, which is really interesting because then it means you get a 4-year BA, but you only have to do 3 years and only 2 years if you don't do placement. So it's quite a good like easy, quick degree. But yeah, I went to, we both live in Hertfordshire, so we're close to London, but Westminster's campus is only in Harrow, so it meant I could stay at home and also still work while I was studying at university. So, and I went to Westminster, I went to all the campuses and visited them and everything, but went to Westminster, and the studios were amazing. Like you had full tables, at some universities you don't even get half a table, workspace and stuff like that. And yeah, the studios were great. And I'd actually been with the FRA. We went on a trip to the Menswear Archive, which was at the Marylebone campus. Westminster have one of the biggest archives for menswear across the university. So we went and I spoke to Andrew Groves, who then was the course leader on the fashion design course at Westminster, and I was like, I really want to come here, and he was like, well, apply, like just apply, all you've got to do is apply everywhere you want to go, all of this. And then I actually got an unconditional at Westminster, so I took that, did the 4 years, did my placement at Charles Jeffrey, which was like the best thing ever. Absolutely love Charles and the whole brand. But I would really encourage like doing a placement year for everyone, even if you can do it. I don't. Can you do it?
So the FRA degrees, they're 2 years with a option of a potential 3 weeks placement.
Right. Okay.
So
ours were like 6 months minimum. Yeah. But if you can do a placement, like do it. 100%. I would not know half the things I know now.
You always say that.
If I hadn't have done my placement year, and I was so lucky that I actually went out to do 2. I did the debut show in Milan and a second show in Milan with Charles, and the internship work placements are just the best thing to gain experience. Like there's only so much you can learn being in one building. Like you need to go out. As great as it is, you do need to go out and get some real industry experience.
100%. I did countless internships as well.
Yeah.
And I think that really, it just grows you up a bit, I think, as well. I think going straight into a job when you have no experience, especially in this industry, can be really confusing. And I think that going for, if you know it's a 3-month or a 6-month stint somewhere where they know that you have, little to no experience because you are there on an internship affiliated to a school, I think that it's really good for you. I think people are willing to teach you a bit more. I think they have patience with you. Yeah. And I think you really get actually a close eye in on what people are doing. I think that's a really good idea.
So then how did starting your brand Tease come about?
So like I said, I was kind of sick of, I feel like there's an unfortunate culture now in society in general, but especially in this industry, of massively greenwashing, and also sort of people, what's the word, kind of, lying's not really it. It's almost like a grey area on ethics, right? And I think that people can very easily sort of cover things, brush them over the carpet, kind of really undermine it. Yeah. So I was sick of that, and I was sick of, saving up and spending money on nicer things for them to basically be the same quality of things that were half the price. And I'm also sick of this trend culture of things being in for a week and people buying them for a £5 and then, never wearing them again. And then there's this new trend, and most of them are vile anyway. And, I just was thinking like this is all just a bit of a mess, and I didn't really want to go and work for anyone under those pretenses, and I wasn't really offered any sort of internships or any kind of job that I was satisfied with the brand anyway and the brand's ethos. So I was like, I'm just going to give it a go, I'm just going to try it. And last summer I bought the company's name, so that I was like, if I do that, then I'm gonna have to see this through, you know, I'm gonna have to see this through. So I was on holiday and I was like, right, I sat my parents down and I was like, right, I'm gonna give it a go, I'm gonna do this. I'd had some savings in my account and I just said, I'm gonna put my savings into it and I'm just gonna see how it goes. And my stepfather was like, I don't know if you should do this, like blah blah blah. And my mum was like, you have to do this, like come on. And very quickly my stepfather came around. It wasn't that he didn't support me, I think he was just absolutely terrified of me putting all of my life savings into something, basically. So once I sort of laid out the plan and the foundation for the brand, worked on my brand's image, worked on sort of how I wanted to proceed with collections and things like that, I called Roxy up and we hadn't spoken for a little while, not because of any sort of dramas, just because that's life, isn't it? Like the older you get, unfortunately, the more busy you get. And I called her and I was like, I really need to see you. I've got something exciting, but I knew that she was working with Charles at the time. And my plan was to kind of just sort of put some feelers out to where she was in her like career at the moment, but I really wanted to sort of almost indoctrinate her into my cult. So I was I was poaching her. Sorry, Charles, if you're seeing this, but so I met up with her and I was like, I kind of just need you to make me some patterns for like some stuff. And she was like, what are you talking about? So I like showed her everything. I'd done this like a little PowerPoint for her. I was like, this. We went for brunch. And she was like, for God's sake.
Okay.
She was like, well, look, I'm actually like, things have slowed down a bit with Charles. Like I took some time out because things are a bit tough. And not with the brand, but just with life, right? And she was like, so this is actually the perfect time for me. And she, what did you say? You said to me, I don't want to do patterns, like I want to be involved. And I was like, my evil plan has worked. I fully indoctrinated her. And yeah, from there on, really, I mean, without Roxy, I think she obviously had that experience not only with Charles, but then she went to study design at school.
Would you like to get into it a little bit about how you sort of source your products and your sort of ethics around the brand?
Yeah, so we work, I made this decision a long time ago. I've always wanted to make a brand only using sort of dead stock or end-of-line fabrics. And for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's basically when fabrics are manufactured for whoever, whether it's film companies, whether it's big fashion houses, what they can do is real naff companies, they'll burn it so that no one else can use it anymore, which is really angers me, but a lot of places will just sell it back to the manufacturer at a lower cost, or just give it back if they've sort of got
a lot of these
a bit of morals. So they'll either give it back, and you can basically go to different manufacturers, and it's sort of just a case of asking around, making contacts with manufacturers. So we just had a funny little moment off camera where you said, is it your leather dealer? And it pretty much is like that. So we work with a leather company and we work with an amazing woman there who basically lets us know if anybody is giving any leather back, because leather's really, really hard to get end of line or dead stock for, because people usually either manufacture as much as they need or will burn it so that other people can't use it. If it's a particular colour or it's got a pattern on it, they want it only for the brand, so people will burn it. I mean, you can always get things like black leather, can't you? I mean, that's pretty much always sort of in the stratosphere because it's so sought after, but anything sort of a bit more unusual, people tend to get rid of. So anytime she'll put feelers out to any companies and be like, look, we're happy to buy it back off of you, blah, blah, blah. And we can go in and we can have a look at it and get it back to her, get it back from her at a better price for us as well. I mean, it's all works out very ethical for us. So yeah, we just basically go around bugging people that work at different manufacturers, being like, have you got any dead stock this week? Have you got any dead stock? We're looking for something like this. Have you got it? And yeah, it's just a case of patience, I think, as well. I think for us, what we're kind of struggling with is when things are sold, they are gone, because we work in really small quantities anyway, because we don't want to mass manufacture anything, and we want things to be, you know, a little bit exclusive for our wearer. We want things to be individual, so we don't work in big numbers, but when things are gone, they're usually gone because we've bought up all of the material that we can find on it, and things, you know, like I said, it's a company either selling it back, so they don't just turn up.
A lot of these companies do tend to like over order as well. It makes it cheaper for them. Like major companies who might be leather goods, like they just make handbags or they just make, you know, leather jackets, they will order in bulk, and they might not sell it, or they can't move it. So yeah, either they say to the leather companies that we use, you can have it back, or we'll sell it back to you, and they sell it at a cheaper price than what they bought it. But yeah, it is basically just like keeping in contact constantly with these companies and seeing like just,
and they're all based in London as well. So we're big on sourcing everything in London, and also everything being produced in London.
We actually go to quite a lot of like fabric fairs, and we'll go to them companies and say like, have you got dead stock? Because they'll have all of their new ranges out or whatever, all of their new prints and things like that.
And there's this strange kind of like dead stock's like a secret almost. I think because for these companies, they're not sure whether they can sell it on because of the brands that have used it, or they just want you to buy the new range. Obviously, they're salesmen. They want you to buy their new range. They want you to buy their new range at a high cost. They want you to buy as much of it as possible. So they don't want us to be coming in and being like, can we buy like 20 meters of dead stock? They're like, no. And we're like, please. And that's why we just bug them for ages, basically. Or we just build up a good rapport with these people. We build up a good relationship where we say, look, if we can buy this from you now, and you keep providing this kind of fabric, we will certainly come to you. Because obviously when you want to source everything in London and solely use dead stock, our options aren't that big. You know, we're quite limited on where we can go with things. So we're big on natural fibres as well, aren't we? So we're actually wearing our Tease collection at the moment. So we're both in our tunic top. Roxy's wearing Onyx and I'm wearing Haze, and I'm also wearing the skirt as well. So this comes in a set, or you can buy them separately, and then we have a dress. So this was our first pre-collection that we brought out a few weeks ago, little capsule collection. And then so that's all made out of leather and suede lambskin. So this is super soft, right? This is super soft. This is lovely. It's thin, it's breathable. You can wear it in summer, you can wear it in winter, whatever you need. It's just, if we do say so ourselves, it's really nice easy wearing and nice quality. You can put together without, you know, thinking about it too much. And our next collection is going to be our resort wear, which is out in a few weeks. So that is made up of some swimwear and some beachwear also. So that's actually been a bit trickier, hasn't it, to source those kind of materials, because people don't want to give them to us. We have a really good relationship with our leather manufacturers, but we're struggling with linens and swimwear, aren't we?
Especially trying to keep it dead stock. Everyone's like, yeah, we've got it, but they're like lines that we keep in all the time. And like swimwear, obviously there's not a lot you can do with swimwear material when like leathers, there's so many different
people don't. So this is the thing, if it's niche, so if you're a leather company, I mean, they'll buy in bulk, but they're only buying leather. If you're a swimwear company, they'll buy in bulk, but they're only buying swimwear. So a lot of these people, like, there's not actually a lot of end-of-line dead stock of both of these things lying around, because these people will use it, you know, and they're big companies, and they'll keep recycling it. If they don't use it this year, they'll use it next year and put it in a different shape, or they'll bring it out in a new shape this year because they have the power and the wheelhouse to do that, you know. Whereas obviously, it's literally us two at the moment working on this. We get our dresses manufactured in Brick Lane, and Roxy makes all of our sets by hand. Everything's handmade.
So sorry, because I was literally thinking about asking about that. So you don't have like a manufacturer per se. You make
not really
everything yourself.
I make a lot of it. I do like all the sampling for everything. And at the moment,
the patterns you do, all the what's it called?
Like twirling,
fittings, she does.
And I made these.
We have one man.
One guy who is like, I love him. I used him for my final collection at university, and I've known him for quite a few years now. But he's got a leather, tiny little studio in Brick Lane, and he helps us out.
We're gonna gatekeep him though, because
no, that's fine.
he's so busy, and we
angel.
actually can't have we can't have anyone going there at the moment.
I mean,
asking him for a
anyone
million
I know,
things.
anyone who knows me watching this will know.
We'll
what
know,
I'm talking
and anyone
about.
who knows me will as well. But
he's.
we'll know if they've.
I
been
mean, send us a DM if you want to.
Yeah, if you really need help, at @where_tease, send us a DM and we will give you the dates. But I'm gonna gatekeep until that point.
Yeah, but other than him and I, it's just us two at the moment.
Yeah.
So
your dad helps with our website.
Yeah, my dad is head of IT department.
He keeps reminding us he has a full-time job, but he actually works with us.
We actually built the website ourselves as well. So we have done everything ourselves.
Marketing ourselves.
We've pulled friends in, and like we've had so much help from like friends and family, and like obviously the support from them has been what's been keeping us going.
Yeah, so it sounds like there have been sort of a lot of bumps along the road, but you're sort of, ironing out all of the creases now, and it seems to all be going well. So what does the future of the brand look like for you guys?
I think it's a hard question, because in my mind I would love to have a brand that's for everyone. I would love to do some menswear. I would love to get into children's wear. I would love to do it all, and I would love to have everyone rocking Tease. I'm sure that's every brand founder's dream, but I really want to keep ourselves true to our brand. I want it to be consistent with our ethics. I want it to be consistently made in London. I want it to be honest. I want people to know exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it, and I really don't want that to ever change, and it won't change. It won't change. But yeah, I just want it to grow. I want more people to see us, and I think for me, I made Tease because I would shop at a place like Tease, and I think that if you care about where your clothes are made, where they come from, who buy, and the materials that they're made of, if you care about quality, if you're interested in having staple pieces in your wardrobe that last years instead of weeks, after one wash everything frays these days, if you're interested in that, I think, just come along for the ride. That's what I want. I just want people to come along for the ride. I want them to see what we're doing, and that's really it. I think every day as it comes.
Yeah.
Because if I think about it all at once, it's very overwhelming. So.
But also, it's a hard question to answer, because if you were to ask us that when we started this, where we'd be in a year or like in 6 months, it'd be a completely different place to where we are now, or like what we've actually achieved so far. Like we keep looking back and going like, we've done that. Like we actually did that. Like, we've got for this collection, we put like the teaser film out and things like that. We did like a short film.
Yeah, we have a campaign for it.
We have a whole campaign. Yeah.
Couldn't have dreamed of. We got my brother and some of his friends who are in the film industry to work on it, and it was incredible. And
like, just even if you would have told us that, we would have done that. Like we would have been like, oh, but we've done it, and it's...
nothing seems possible and everything seems possible at the same time. You just need to figure out how. And so far, I think
we're doing okay.
There's a million things to sort at the moment, but we've sorted it all so far. So I just think for anyone that wants to start something or wants to do something of their own, there's always going to be that voice in your head, your saboteur. If anyone watches RuPaul, they will know this. There's always going to be that voice in your head that says like, it's not going to happen, you can't do this, you need this, or you don't have that. Don't listen, just go for it and see where it takes you. And I think what you would have hoped to achieve might not happen in a certain time period, and what you couldn't believe you could achieve happens. So just go for it, and that's I think that's what we learned here, isn't it? Really,
just gotta go for it.
Just gotta go for it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. It's been so lovely.
It's been really interesting to hear all about your business and how you've sort of grown from FRA students then to go do your degrees elsewhere, and then now come out with this amazing brand. So I'm really proud of you guys.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
Everything you're doing is really amazing. And I can't wait to see where the brand goes next.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the listen, and be sure to follow Wear Tease on Instagram. And that's it from us. Thank you.